Hello Sag, welcome to my channel, Iris Love and Light. This is the first reading that I'm getting around to doing for you guys. And yeah, so the way that I do it is I shuffle through the cards really quickly. And the reason why I do that is because I want you to see as I'm shuffling, the cards are falling out. And those are the ones that were intended for your reading. As I was shuffling, I thought it was funny because I kept seeing the darkness of the devil as I'm shuffling your cards. And I thought to myself, after I saw it like 2 times, I'm like, oh, that card wants to come out. But I left it in there because I didn't want to really mess with it. I kept shuffling. Sure enough, the darn card comes out. So, I don't know. The devil is something like... maybe not the most healthiest of habits, but we'll get to it. And just so that way you guys know, I am completely new to this. I mean, I've been studying tarot for some time now, but as far as doing readings online, I have never done that. So bear with me. And at the end of it all, if you like it, please give me your feedback. Any way that I can improve, let me know. If you like it, like it. If you like what I say, subscribe. Yeah. All right. So, guys, the way this starts out is like you're feeling like you've put in a lot of work, huh? So, this guy here, he's looking at all the work that he's done. He's holding a shovel in his hands. And he's looking and he's like waiting for the fruits of his labor to come in. And, you know, it's been work. It's been a lot of work. So, that's the way it starts off. And... shortly after that, I'm sorry, Sag, whatever happened, you felt left out in the cold. It transitions from... my complexion looks weird in the camera. All right. So, yeah, you're putting in all this hard work, and then somehow a regression happens where you're feeling left out in the cold. You go from waiting for your riches to losing it all. And now you're stuck left like this. And it's more like in a past position. So this could have happened at some point in the past. But again, no, I'm not giving you any time period per se. But when I do these, this would be more of a past position. This is more of a present. And this is a future. So you could have been... putting in some hard work or waiting for the fruits of your labors to appear, and then all of a sudden, boom, you feel left out in the cold. It could have either been if it was an employer that you were waiting to reap your rewards, you either lost a job. If it was a relationship, you could have either lost that relationship, and that kind of scenarios like that. But really think in your life to see how a feeling like the 5 of Pentacles is manifesting, or has manifested in the past rather, and see where it fits. And keep in mind, I'm doing this for all Sagittariuses. So some messages might apply to you, some might not. But if it does, hold on to it. If it doesn't, hopefully next month or next season, I can really get it down pat for you. But you feel left out in the cold, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you know what? I feel left out in the cold. The rods symbolize things that you've been through, lessons in life that now you're just like, you're walking on this journey in life, and life came and gave you a lesson, lesson. Here's another lesson. Oh, this one was hard. Boom, another lesson. But you're taking it and you're on this journey and you're almost to where you're supposed to be, but you're getting so tired. So... It's like, all right, I get left out in the cold. Now I just have to learn from what happened, and I got to just keep moving forward with all these rods of burden on my shoulder. And that's what could have happened in the past. So that occurs, and I'm sorry that does occur, but, the great thing about it being a 10 of Wands is that it's the 10, so it's a completion of a cycle. You don't have to go through that anymore. You take the rods of burden and everything that you've learned throughout this journey of life and reflect on it and see, like, okay, I've got all these rods, but they all were intended to teach me something. They're all intended to continue molding me. Just like the pressure that builds a diamond. The same thing, same concept. So then when we move down to this row, it's interesting because now there's a transition in your emotional state. All of a sudden, after going through and walking through the 10 rods of burden, you're taking a seat and you feel good. You're feeling emotionally content. So that's such a transition, right? Where you go feeling left out in the cold to something makes you feel content, or something makes you feel emotionally fulfilled. And it could be because this gentleman is in the middle. This gentleman is, he's the king of cups. And typically this guy, his throne is right in the middle of the sea. The sea can be sometimes rocky, it can be calm, it's ever changing. But no matter what, that throne stays planted and he is on solid footing in the middle of the ocean. So that's being able to balance your emotions and stay calm despite the chaos around you. And that's possibly why the 9 of Cups arises, where you're like, there's so much going on, but within me, I'm finding a form of peace in my emotions. However, for the devil to pop out right here, I thought that was interesting because you go from a period where you're feeling like you're secure in your emotions, you're alright, like, you're not really gonna be disrupted, because the King of Cups, although his emotions run deep, on the surface you can't see it. It's just like if you think about water and the way water works. Water, you look out onto the ocean from a boat or wherever you're looking from, and you see this beautiful expanse of water, but you don't know what's underneath it. And that's the same way that the cup suit operates. So you could be operating like this or dealing with someone who's either operating like this. The cup suit is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm right. Or I'm wrong. Who knows? But it could be someone in your vicinity that you're dealing with that is either a water sign or acting like that. Or you're acting like that and you're feeling emotionally secure despite the chaos that's going around you. But when the devil comes into play, now be careful, because whatever you're getting involved in, it could be to your own detriment. Now, like, if you feel so good here that you're like emotionally secure, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm feeling good, I'm gonna go out and drink. You do it too much. I'm feeling good, I'm gonna go out and smoke. You're doing it too much. I'm feeling good, I'm gonna go party, I'm gonna go on a sexcapade. This is doing things in a form that is to your own detriment. Like, look at these two people. These two people are chained to one another at the base of the devil. The base of the devil's foot. And whatever you're doing or whatever you are involved in, it has an underlying energy that it might not be for your best good. So whatever it is, I mean, it could be a relationship, it could be maybe a friendship or a partnership, or people that you're hanging out with that don't really serve your best good. So just be careful with this. Be aware, reflect, and to see what are things that I'm doing or that could come into my near future that could potentially be to my own detriment, or that I'm doing it and in excess. A drink here or there, cool. Nobody's gonna really, bust your chops about that. But when you're drinking every day, okay, it's a little excessive. So think of things like that that's going on in your life that you're like, okay, and then take time to fix it you know, or slow down, slow your roll kind of thing. Because I mean, I can speak for myself where there's been times where I've felt like this and I've felt like this. And the way I've handled it, I'll admit, is I went here. You know, I felt left out in the cold. Oh my God, it was too many things to deal with. I just too much burden for me. Okay, now I'm gonna go smoke. What? So, you know, the way that translates, you just gotta be careful with it. Because if this is the way you're operating, just know that you're on solid footing. Like, no matter what happens, you don't have to turn to these things to stay balanced in your emotions. All right. Now, despite all that, this is the last row. Now, the last row, you start off the last row, and would be almost considered like a future position, right? The future position is death. Don't think negatively about that. You see death and devil, you get scared. But don't do that. This can almost symbolize, it could symbolize a breakup. It can symbolize death. Let's say if we're talking about you per se. This is the dying out of the old and welcoming the new. The sun is coming out. So now, despite the fact that I put in a lot of work, I felt left out in the cold, I had to take all these burdens with me, but somehow I've made sense of it in my mind and my emotions where I feel confident enough. I feel okay, and you know, I'm accepting of it. Despite the chaos that's going on around me, I'm going to sit here on my throne like a king would. And sometimes I overindulge. But now I have the opportunity to start anew. Dying of the old, welcoming the new. But I need to find a balance between the things that are going on. Look at these two pentacles and think, what are two things that you're balancing in my life right now? Now you see the seas behind them, they're a little rocky. And even him, he's not necessarily on solid footing. He's going back and forth. He's rocking back and forth because he's trying to balance these two pentacles. Now, the pentacles can symbolize two things in your life. Family, work, two things. Work, relationship, two things. But there are two things that are, no matter what, intertwined. And you have to find a solid balance to the two. Now, at the end, you have this knight, and he's rushing in, right? So as you're sitting there, you have this new period where you're like, that's it. Old me, done for. I'm not being this way no more. I'm going to be new. And as you're figuring out the balance, what's rushing in is this guy. He's rushing right towards it, right towards this new beginning, right? So no matter what, if these two are coming towards another, they're going to clash. They're going to meet. So either you're walking in this direction, right? This is this new me. I'm going to find a balance. I'm going to get this underway. I'm going to get that balance. And when I do I turn into this guy who's passionate, a go-getter? This is your sign. So it's almost like now when you're so heavily basing your emotions with the King of Cups, you like kill that off and you're like, you know, I'm done with it. I'm going to be back in my suit. I'm going to be that fiery person. I'm going to be that person that's a go-getter who's passionate, who's the person that walks into a room and all of a sudden their eyes turn over to see who that was that just walked in, and lo and behold, it's you. And being that it's a knight, I mean, he's rushing, but it's a knight. So in order for progression, there's still work to be done within yourself, because the knight still transitions into other people in the suit. You still have the queen, you have the king. So it's still in its beginning stages. But if you're behaving that way, might as well come home to yourself in the fire suit. Or Or if all of this is symbolic of a relationship and this is not necessarily you, although I think it is, because to be represented as the King of Cups for someone of fire is, you know, is interesting. But if you are not, if you stay this person, you know, heavily based in your emotions and all of that, is this someone rushing towards you? Someone with this type of qualities of themselves, a fire sign. And fire signs are Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. So, I mean, either someone in your midst is running, you know, speeding towards you as you're figuring out this new way of being and trying to find balance between all the chaos that's happening. Someone can either be rushing towards you. It can be anyone in your life. I mean, it could be a new friend. It could be a new partnership. It can be someone like that. Or, like I said, it could be you transitioning from this emotional state in which you were to now going back into feeling more into your element and feeling more like yourself. But it's a new phase of yourself because now you still have to go through the building processes, so that way you then transition from the knight to the king. And while all of this is happening, the underlying energy of all of this that's happening is the Three of Wands. Now, the Three of Wands, if you look at this card, it's very easy to read. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. Like, he's looking at the expanse and he's like, it's almost time to move on. He's standing there, he's looking at the seas. And you see the ground beneath him. A lot of the cards in the tarot are very, like, if you look at the details of it, it'll tell you a lot about the card. I mean, the Three of Wands, you see the wands have new leaves of growth on it. But the ground that he stands on, I mean, is not, it's not flourishing with flowers and greenery and stuff. It's like, kind of crappy. So he's looking out at the expanse like, it's time for me. So this is the underlying energy. And below that is the world, the closing of a cycle. Now everything has come full circle. A new beginning, just like death is a new beginning. But it's when you're already like, okay, you know what? It's time to move on. The world happens and you find your strength. But unfortunately, you gotta move on. Now, it's just so you know what I just did there. I'm gonna put this back in order, okay? This is the underlying energy over here. I put the cards on the side. This is how the cards came out. I'm looking at the expanse. I don't know. Do I go? Do I stay? When I do, oh shoot. End of a cycle. Cool, right? End of a cycle. Actually, let me just put half of these down because they're too much to hold. Alright, the end of a cycle. Once I do that, moving on. And these are the things that are unseen, right? Look, I had the cards like this. Okay, move on. Full cycle. Well, completion of a cycle. After that, I find strength. And look how amazing, though. Look. You see the Two of Pentacles? This is the balance that you're trying to find. And then you find it. You see how she wears it like a crown now. And it's not unleveled. It's not like she's got that on her head and it's like basically upright, like a figure 8 on top of her head. No, it's like completely balanced. And the Strength card is basically, she's so strong she can tame a lion. What the heck? So this is where you're moving towards after you move on. So this card, let's put everything down and focus here. So this card, you've got two people who are moving away from rocky waters to calmer waters. And then the swords are symbolic of logic, everything that has to do based in the mind. But swords are also lessons. So you're taking these lessons that you've learned, and you're moving away from the rocky waters. And in doing so comes the new beginning and the strength. And that's how you end up being back in your element. I think that's awesome. Okay? That's super awesome. I kind of want to leave this and put this over what's going on up here, because what's going up there is no more. It's all about moving on in this reading. It's about starting anew. I'm going to pull another card just to see and give you some more insight. Yeah. Once you find the balance, though, on whatever two or major things, it can be more than two, but find a balance so that way you're feeling, you know, you're feeling on solid footing, just like you were with when or are right now. Okay. The Four of Air. Time to rest or take a vacation. Allow more time before making a decision. Meditation may provide answers. Think everything through. Think on what's your next steps. Because when you think things through, that's where you'll really be able to figure out where you can take the balance. Where are these things that you really need to just kind of nip in the butt? I'm going to give you the definition of that card. Let me just clean up here because I can make a mess with these cards, I'll tell you. All right, the Four of Air. Four of Air. And if you look on this card, this is almost like you would be this horse here. You got two horses here, kind of like canoodling. This one over there looking at what they're doing. And this one here, I'm tired. I need a break. All right. So what this is symbolic of, or what it means, it's time to rest. Take a vacation or create time to regroup and rejuvenate. Retreat from the world and any stress or concerns. If you've been ill, focus upon healing and don't rush back into action. You need some time alone. Meditation may provide the answers you seek if you've exhausted all intellectual possibilities for a solution. The need to get more sleep, allowing more time before making a decision, the end of a stressful period, feeling mentally exhausted. So the reason why I like to pull these is because although, you know, I can sit here and tell you, hey, Sag, take the time, you know, figure out what it is that's causing this, you know, realize that a new beginning is coming, but you got to find a balance. So, you know, if you have to take some time to retreat, do so. Take some time, retreat, and think. Think about what this move has to be for you. And remember, one of the meanings to this card is it's an end of a stressful period. And we already see that here. 10, you came to the end of that. That's it. That's done for. But don't bring cards like that into your future. It's all about your mental space. So if you take your mental space and you allow it to transition in this way, it might suck a little bit, because now it's like you gotta walk, you gotta turn your back to things 3 times. You see someone's back here. You got to turn your back to things and move forward with a balance to yourself. Because when you find a balance, that all the chaos that's going on, work, family relationship, and all of those kind of things that once you find that balance and you get on even footing again, you're gonna feel so strong. You're gonna feel like yourself again. And then once you do that, it's gonna come in quick. All right, I don't want to keep ranting, guys. This is not set in stone, so make sure that your future is not set in stone. So take what you learned today and see how it applies, but focus on areas like this. Where am I overindulging? What things are out of balance in my life? What things in myself or in life or people that I need to just cut off and move forward from, so I can become this go-getter again. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, but it's all about being aware. Take the advice of the 4 of Cups. Take time to yourself. Rest. Really take time to reflect and think what needs to happen. What are your next plans going forward, so you can in turn make them and do what's best for you. All right. Yes, Sag. Again, I hope you liked this video. It wasn't the most like, oh yeah, here's a ton of riches for you, but it's still good because it's moving in the right direction. It's taking you away from these things here, and that's ideal, right? It's a chance for a new beginning. And a lot of people are getting this now. It's a chance for a new beginning. So take it and make the best of it for yourself. Be this better version of yourself. All right? All right, guys. I'm not going to rant anymore. I hope to see you guys soon. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know how you liked the video. I hope you enjoy your spring, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.